What's up, everybody? Welcome back. I know it's been a minute, but anyway, we're gonna get this going. I got a good friend with me, long time friend. Known him at least felt like 5+ years. Eugene Jones, man, and he's my barber now. You know, special shouts out to mom. It's her birthday. You guys go wish mom happy birthday. Love you, mom. Make sure you enjoy it to the fullest. What we were talking about before we had those issues with the camera. Apologize, everybody, but he said something so beautiful, man. You remember?
Yeah, we was talking about monitoring spirits. So it was a video that I saw about monitoring spirits, and what that means is this force, this presence that kind of hinders a person's progression in life. That's why the saying is like, keep your plans, ideas, and your goals to yourself, or only speak your plans, your goals, your ideas into people that you know, trust, and love, that will speak that life back into you. For example, you tell your friend like, hey, this is what I want to do with my life, and they're like, nah, I don't think you should do that. That right there could be considered a monitoring spirit that kind of like hinders you or makes you second guess that will to achieve those goals. And I seen that, and that resonated so well with me, because I'm like, what if the majority of the time people are getting held back because they talk too much about what they want to do in life to people that don't speak that life back into them.
That probably happens all the time.
Yeah.
And if you don't have, I don't think self-esteem is a word, or high self-esteem, but if you don't have a strong will, I think you could definitely get deterred by outside forces, right? Mm-hmm. So I made a bet on a recent UFC fight. I'll spoil it. End up losing it, but I made the bet and I posted it, right?
Yeah.
And then my girl, she was like, you shouldn't have posted it because you don't know who's actually wishing on your downfall. Like, which one of your friends is actually hoping for you to lose. And I was like, ooh, you right, bro.
And it'd be the smallest things, too.
Right?
Placing a bet on something.
Yeah. Yeah, you're absolutely right, man. I love that. And so that's why I think it's important to be more, I guess, use discretion when it comes to what you truly care about and voicing that to just outside people. I mean, I think there's power in expressing or voicing what you're passionate about, or a goal that you'd like to achieve. Mm-hmm. But there's also power in keeping it for yourself, right?
Yeah.
And kind of manifesting. I've noticed too, it tends to grow a lot more when you keep it to yourself, only because you don't have people talking down on it, one. Mm-hmm. And then two, you don't have false expectations from other people to be like, oh, what's going on with that goal that you said you was working on? You know? And then it kind of brings you down to face the fact that, you've probably been slacking on that goal a little bit.
Exactly.
Yeah, so, no, I love that, man. I absolutely love it. But we was talking about that in terms too of like the social media realm and the world of like what we live in today, right? Mm-hmm. With men that just kind of follow a bunch of women just based off of attractiveness and don't necessarily, but what would be the right word for that? Don't necessarily what? There's no real intention in the fact that you're following these people outside the fact that they just look good.
Yeah, so for men, we're biologically wired to be visual creatures. So when we see a pretty girl, or we see something that's attractive, our eyes focus on that. And having a little bit of discipline goes a long way. You want a 2 on top?
What are you thinking? You think I should just keep it? What do you think? It's up to you. You do what you want.
Yeah, we can keep the top.
We keep the top. All right.
Yeah. But so men are visual. Right? Everybody knows that. Right? It's all over the podcast. They always talk about it. Women always complain that men, even in a relationship, look at other women. It's a common thing. It's not something that's hidden. But I call it following the dopamine. So women, in my opinion, not just my opinion, I know it's controversial, but women, they follow the dopamine of validation. They follow the dopamine of, seeking that attention.
Majority.
The majority. There are some good women out there, right?
Yeah. We're generally speaking.
Yeah, generally speaking, right? Yeah. It's all over, it's undeniable.
Yeah.
But for men, we follow the dopamine of chasing that pretty object or chasing that thing that's attractive to us. And sometimes that can lead us to our downfall. Man, even in relationships, there's some men that still, chase over their wives, chase over their girls, or they have this weird call it the fatal attraction. They constantly can't. They allow things to go to the wayside. They put down their boundaries. They let people talk to them however they want to talk to them because of their misconstrued ideal of what right looks like. Because of that, me personally, when it comes down to it, man, when guys get on social media and they don't know how to act, or they liking all these videos and this and that, I played into it a little bit too. I'm not, I'm not perfect, but now that I see it for what it is, I stay away from it.
Yeah,
I stay away from it.
You were able to identify the base off of, like, what was the self-realization that happened for you? Did you like a picture and you was like, why am I liking this? Or did you see a video, presumably of someone probably twerking or something like that, and you were just like, you go through the comments and then you just see a bunch of like dudes that are just doing way too much.
Yeah, they doing way too much.
Way too much.
It was that, and it was also, it's like when you really truly understand like what's really going on in the world, man. Like me, I don't even know how to say this properly, right? I'm gonna just freestyle it. So, in my opinion, those type of women, they perverted everything. They came into the man. They came into the man's space. With the gaming community, women are on Twitch right now gaming, but you go on their page or, they there's an ad and she's posting herself. What does she have out? She has her breasts or something sexual.
She's
perverted.
Sexualizing it, yeah.
Sexualizing.
Yeah.
Same thing in the gym. That used to be a man's space, right? Sexualized, perverted. Generally speaking, because there are women that go to the gym and they actually get busy with the weights. They actually focus on fitness, but everything is perverted. Everything that's involved with the men, because women know how to monetize it.
Yeah.
So you gotta respect the hustle, but at the same time, for men, we can't be played the fool.
You have to have some form of discipline, and you have to show, I guess, resilience in that sense of not, what's the word? I guess over sexualizing women or just being that weird creep, right? That's doing too much in the comments.
Yeah.
I mean, you see it all the time, but you said you freestyled it. I think you articulated it pretty well.
Yeah.
I think that was well said. It is a weird thing where popular things that men only used to do are now being, I wouldn't say
monetized by women.
It is being monetized. It is being monetized.
It's monetized. Like women are doing a phenomenal job.
Yeah.
Getting the attention of men and making money off of it. Like for example, like I said, Twitch is a big one. Like the game community, anime.
Yeah.
And like
anime is huge. Right?
I remember growing up in school. It's like you can't approach a girl and be like, "Hey, do you watch anime?" Like right or wrong.
No,
like you would consider a lame.
You would consider a dweeb.
Yeah, a dweeb watching anime. Now anime is so cool.
It's so popular with everybody. Popular. It's weird.
Yeah, and I was like, man, like why couldn't it have been popular when I was going through school? Because I used to always watch shows like Gundam or Inuyasha, and I used to stay up late to watch all types of anime.
The Legends.
Yeah, so. Yeah. And I couldn't talk to that about no girl. You know what I'm saying?
But no, they're right. They've monetized men's spaces.
Yeah,
in a sense.
In a sense, yeah.
Yeah, in a sense. I love that. Yeah. But then, so you can't, the blame isn't 100% on them, and no one is saying that. The blame, I think, has to be with the men. Because
it's always the men.
There has to be accountability. And it kind of bothers me with just how no sense of discipline. I don't know if discipline isn't a word for that. No sense of like reserve.
Yeah.
Right? When it comes to that most men have. They don't have any reserve when it's like, obviously the girl that you're probably talking to at a Comic-Con more than likely probably isn't into you. But she probably has a fan base, whether or not she's a streamer or something like that.
Yeah.
and she's going to entertain you because it grows her fan
potential
base.
customer.
Exactly, your potential customer.
Yeah.
So and it's like you gotta be able to identify that and just leave that where it is. You shouldn't be engaging or indulging in that.
Yeah, and I'm not saying that women can't have spaces, within the community of men, but they have to remember that we're visual, we're hypersexualized, biologically wired individuals. So everything is monitorized around sex.
Yeah, more men just need to be more accountable, man. One of my favorite quotes from Khabib, famous UFC legend, he said, all men are addicted to something. He said, some men are addicted to women, some men are addicted to gambling, drugs, alcohol. He said, me, brother, addicted to discipline. He said, damn, that's exactly what I mean.
Addicted to discipline.
Addicted to discipline.
But you gotta find joy in that. Find joy in that. Yeah. And a lot of guys don't find joy in discipline because it's hard, it's grueling, it's rough, it's sacrifice. A lot of the times most guys don't even want to make the sacrifice.
It's so rewarding, though.
But it is so rewarding.
So rewarding, man.
There was a interview, and I forgot the podcast, but the guy, he was talking about a stressful body. He was like, when you look at somebody's body, you can tell what type of stress that they're enduring. Right? Now you say you look at somebody who's chiseled in the gym, constantly working on herself. That's a stressful body, right or wrong?
Yeah, right.
Your body is stressed. You're having trouble sleeping. It aches. You're sore. You're tired. It's grueling.
Right.
And he's like, when you look at a fat person, their body's also suffering through stress, but it's a different type of stress. And that right there, that's identified as discipline. What type of disciplines are you enduring to stress your body out?
So you drop your gems.
Yeah, like I be watching this type of stuff, and I'm just like man, like it's not hard to kind of dive into understanding what type of disciplines you need in your life.
So a beast person, their discipline is food. That's what they find discipline in. Just eating all types of bullshit.
Yeah. When you know how to cut yourself off from what you call comforting, that's the first step to discipline. And by any means, man, nobody's perfect out here. Like,
yeah, we're all human.
Yeah, we're all human. You know what I'm saying? So those comforting foods, those long days where you just like all week you just watching porn. You know what I'm saying? But you can't find yourself to stop.
Yeah.
Like it comes and goes, and I blame men for this monetization of these spaces. For example, like OnlyFans. Come on, man. Like, if all men came together when OnlyFans started and was like $4.99 to look at a chocolate balloon knot, nah, I'm good on that.
A what?
Chocolate balloon knot. I don't want to say it on your podcast.
Okay, no, yeah. I just have to make sure I heard it right.
Yeah. I got that from somebody though.
Oh, yeah.
I thought it was funny.
That's hilarious.
But like, if all men came together and was like, I'm not. That's how much you think you worth? $4.99? That's crazy.
We're not subscribing to that.
Yeah, we're not doing that. And all men just agreed on it. Like, hey, don't do that. Don't subscribe to that. Like, you gotta be some type of like wimp or like. But it just goes to show you how lonely men are.
That's too lonely. You know what I mean? Yo, that is too lonely.
You'd be surprised.
But the part that I think upsets me the most, or what I'm more perturbed about when it comes to that, is like, you don't have to be a great looking guy to not be lonely. That's just the truth. Like, I'm not the cutest, or I'm not the most handsomest dude, but
cutest was a diabolical. I'm not the cutest. Like, oh wait, hold up, pause. Got pause that.
I'm not. You know what I mean? Though. I'm not like the most handsome dude, but at the same time, like, there's other men out there. You could be like a 4 or 5, and I just feel like there's other things you could probably focus on in your life that allows you or women to not necessarily have to cater to like the way you look, right? Like personality. I know everybody likes to say that, but like, if you're not the best looking dude, it's like, okay, well,
go get you some money. Go get you some money. Start working on yourself. Go get your body.
That's where I was going. go to the gym.
Go to the gym.
Go to the gym. I wouldn't necessarily do the money thing because that could be a little bit more difficult. And I feel like that's the norm. That's a trend to say nowadays. It's like, go get you some money.
Well, let me kind of phrase on that a little bit. Let me talk about that. So it's like when I mean by go get you some money, it's like go find a trade. Go do something that's of value. Because when you do something that's of value, i.e. this, like what I'm doing now, you tend to bond with people.
And it makes you more attractive in the eyes of a woman because, hey, you are working on yourself and you're doing something of value.
Some people find that in the gym, and when you find that, when you find that thing that you love to do, you'll never be lonely because you'll always have that.
Just a little bit though. Cause
I'm talking about not being lonely in the sense of like you have your own passion. There's a passion behind it, right? The physical lonely part with the women is something totally different.
Okay, I love how you elaborated on that. Then that makes sense because then you won't necessarily allow yourself to kneel to the positions of what these men are allowing themselves to kneel to with the OnlyFans and stuff.
Exactly.
Because you hold yourself of some self-esteem and some value within the world. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. And when you do that, man, like when it comes to cutting hair, like I love it so much that, it might sound jacked up, but like I sacrifice the time with my family, but I always make it up on the back end. Like right now I'm thinking about like how can I spend more time with my kids after I get done cutting hair? What can I do for them tomorrow? Because, we ain't got no plans for tomorrow. Taking my wife out on a dinner date, at random times, because last week we were supposed to go out and, I had a few heads to cut, stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, and there's always going to be sacrifice, right? Like at some point, you're just going to have to make sure that you're making it up on the back end.
Yeah, the responsibility is to make it up on the back end.
Yeah. It's just unfortunate though. I think it's definitely a wish that's never going to be fulfilled of like all men coming together and just agreeing that we won't be subscribing to the nonsense, right? To the over-sexualization and monetization of course, us because we're the ones that are victim to this stuff.
Yep. Right? And that's exactly why I blame men. I don't blame women. Yeah. I don't blame they out there hustling, making money. Hey, however you want to make money, do what you do, cool. But when I look on the opposite end, I'm just like, hey fellas, like, when are we gonna stop this? Because it's getting out of hand.
I know, those are weak men. I'm surrounded by weak men all the time, man. They just make excuses about everything. And I get it. Like we're gonna always say like we're not perfect, right? Because that's just the truth. Like we're all human, but there are excuses that I hear all the time from just weak men that just always come off as like victimization. You know what I mean? Oh, I can't make it to the gym to go do this because I have to spend more time doing this. And it's like, brother, like we all have to sacrifice somewhere. Yeah. And for me, if you're not willing to put your body through something a little bit grueling for better results, because exercising, aside from the fact of looking good, exercising is way better for you just emotionally as a human being.
Yeah.
Mentally, spiritually, everything.
It does a lot for you.
Yeah, just because you did something like a 30-minute HIIT exercise workout make you sweat, like you become a more patient person afterwards. You already felt like the hardest thing you had to do was that.
Yeah.
So you're more patient, you're more understanding, right? Yeah. I'm pretty sure like there's that scientific term in there that with your levels in your body that makes you feel all of that, right? Like you don't feel anxious, you feel exhilarated. It's like, why wouldn't you want to feel like that? Yeah. It's my thing. It's like that should be the point. You should want to feel very calm. You should want to be happy about what you just did.
A lot of people run away from it because it don't feel good. That comfort, that comfort in sitting at home on the couch playing video games, eating that food, it's so comforting, and it sucks. Even the people like me and you, that's always active, that's always doing something. That comforting spirit is heavy, man. It's heavy, but you gotta love the thrill of being uncomfortable, and there's a certain joy that you were talking about that comes with that at the end of when you finish. Like, man, I accomplished that. I did that.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't. They don't know what that feels like because they haven't attempted or they haven't done something that was really hard and grueling and felt that level of accomplishment because of that. So to make somebody love it off the like initially is hard. Because like for a person that's overweight and is trying to, seek some type of fitness goal, and they don't see results in the first 6 months, they get discouraged and they stop. It's like, when are the results coming? I don't see any results, so why am I doing this?
Yeah, but results are a little bit different than how you feel emotionally after like one workout. I think if you're an obese person or you're like a little bit overweight and you have a really good workout, there has to be something within you that took place that was like, damn, what I just did was really good and I feel 100 times better about myself, right? To make you want to go back that next day, and then the next day, and then the next day, and then you just got to keep finding that. Results is a little bit different, right? Because then that could be a little bit unmotivating, like you were stating, right? Hey, I've been doing this for like 6 months, I'm not getting results here. Which I find that to be very hard to be true. I don't know anyone that's doing something for that amount of period, if they're doing it correctly, to not get results.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You know what I told one of my coworkers? They was talking about like nutrition. And it was like, I can't find the right diet for me. I'm like, that right there, that's my pet peeve. Because naturally, right, it's hardwired in all of us, right? As human beings, we know exactly what foods to stay away from. We know exactly what foods to turn to. If somebody says, hey, eat chicken and rice for 3 weeks, just chicken and rice. In the morning, have you some egg whites, and then oats with blueberries. And then in the afternoon, chicken and rice. Evening time, chicken and rice with broccoli. And then call it a day. Have your protein shake with the proper amount of water. Right? We all know what that will do to us. Right?
You get chiseled.
Yeah, you be nasty with it, right?
You be chiseled.
Right? And that's something that I'm not even like professional in. Like the whole nutrition thing.
Yeah.
But I know exactly what it takes to lose weight. I know exactly what foods to stay away from.
Yeah.
It's not because somebody told me. It's like you already know that broccoli is good for you.
Yeah.
And that chicken and rice is the most nutritional thing, plain, bland thing you can eat to lose weight.
100%.
So when people I don't know what I should be eating, you know exactly what you should be eating.
And then it falls back to those excuses. It's just, again, man, you're not gonna get away from that, which I've already come to terms with, and that's why I try not to comment or I try not to do anything as often when it comes to just dealing with like weak individuals. It's okay to complain. Like complaining is innate in us, and we complain because something doesn't sit right with us.
Yeah,
that's okay.
I think complaining is like the most selfish thing you can do.
Ooh. Well, I mean, it is.
I mean, we're all human. I do it too, but even when I complain, I'm like, man, that's selfish.
It is.
Because I'm like, I'm the bearer of my own outcome. like I'm the bearer of my own. I am the responsible individual for my own outcome.
Yeah.
If you're staying in a relationship and your wife or girlfriend or whoever you're dating is just constantly badgering you with just verbal nonsense and it's just putting you in this bad light, they don't make you feel good. They're not doing what they're supposed to, or vice versa. It's like. And you're sticking around for that. Like you are responsible for that.
But you complain to the boys.
You complain. And my wife tripping, man. And you know what I'm saying? She always doing X, Y, and Z. It's like,
and you know it's gonna be the same story tomorrow.
Yeah, you're like dog, why are you allowing it then? He's like, what do you mean? Why am I allowing it? She doing it to me. He's like,
no accountability.
You allowing it? Like, you go to sleep at night, baby, I love you still. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
Like, no, like, there should be some type of accountability. I am the bearer of my own outcome. And my outcome, everybody has the same opportunity to produce the best outcome for themselves. I'm not perfect, you know what I'm saying? Like, when I was younger, I struggled with finances. And even now, to this day, I struggle with managing finances. And I'm not saying I'm in a bad light or anything, but, like, I've always came to a point where it was, like, I didn't know what I was doing when it comes to money. And I think everybody has a relationship with money that's both good and bad. Yeah,
definitely, man.
Yeah, there was a couple of years where, I felt like I was on top of the world when it came to money. I could give anybody advice, and there was years where I was like, I don't want to talk about it right now. You know what I'm saying? Like, everybody has that testimony, man.
Yeah, that's real.
Yeah,
that's real. And I think that's what I don't know. The social media space is kind of weird to me. That's why, like, I'm so turned off by stuff. Like, I've stopped listening to podcasts, even I do my own. I've just stopped listening to people because...
That's deep, man. And I think a lot of people should stop listening to podcasts as well.
Yeah, I just feel like it's just so much people just spouting nonsense.
It's ironic, but so I mean, as of right now, we're just speaking on terms of, our opinions of it. But we're on a podcast.
We're genuine.
Yeah.
And, people watching that could pick that up. We know BS from non-BS.
Yeah.
That's very evident to look out.
But you know where it differentiates at is when people's like, oh, their opinion is wrong because of X, Y, Z. They so on podcasts they normally dissect point of views. Right, that's the whole premise of the podcast. Like when women get on there and they start talking their shit.
Yeah.
Vice when men get on there and they start talking their shit, they typically there's another podcast that goes in there and dissects why it's like buffoonery.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter if your opinion is genuine or not. Somebody going there like clowns on here talking some stupid shit. For no reason. It's just this is opinion based stuff.
Yeah, I mean you're absolutely right. However, I would disagree and say, not disagreeing with what you stated, I would disagree and say, for us at least, right?
Mm-hmm.
But when it comes to our perspectives as of right now, there's nothing that could inherently be incorrect about what we were stating. Everything that we stated so far, I think, is backed up based off of statistics as well as fact, right? The over-sexualization and monetization of these spaces that men used to be able to, that are now being taken over in regards to what I stated earlier, right?
Yeah.
That's a fact.
That is a fact.
That's a fact.
But somebody can go in there and be like, well, the reason why it's being done is X, Y, and Z. And they can state their own opinion on it.
And that's fine. You're entitled to that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That's what I mean by that.
But that podcast I'd never fucking listen to. You know what I mean? Because I'm not trying to hear that nonsense. What I want to do is just the facts, and then I want to see how these people think. But if it tends to go left, then I'm not entertaining it. One thing that I just read, right, while I was was away for a little while and I just got back, was Beyond Order by Jordan Peterson, right? You familiar with Jordan Peterson?
Oh yeah, I got one of his books.
Oh, you probably got the same book I got.
What book you got?
I have 12 More Rules to Life.
Which I got the audio book. I think it's that same one. Give me a second.
Bro, read that book. Read that book. That book is good.
And see, this topic right here would be like Jordan Peterson's X, Y, and Z, and I'm like, well, Jordan Peterson speaks on statistics, facts. He goes straight to the hearts of like why men do what they. 12 Rules for Life is what I got.
Okay, so you got the first one then. Well,
yeah.
I think that's the first or the second one.
Yeah.
I can't remember which one it is.
I'm not sure which one it is,
yeah.
But when I got it, I listened to the whole thing. I even took notes on it. I'll have to go back and look at those notes on it.
Well, I'm interested in what that one has to offer too, though, because this one, it revolutionized me, man. And I'm not even saying that lightly. Like, I am locked in with what I need to do right now, bro.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna be wasting time and just for nonsense and stuff like that, man.
That's good.
There's I can't really speak eloquently or articulate too much on how the book has necessarily changed me, but it's held me even way more accountable with myself. Exactly like what you were stating.
Yeah.
With you can't complain because at the end of the day you're the one that's in charge of your destiny, so to say, right?
Yeah.
And I was giving myself, I think, too much leeway, and the book just made me open up my eyes to that. And I was like, okay, well, right, I can't complain. I'm the one that's in charge of this vessel, my mind, where I'm going to be, where I am now, right? Where I was before and where I'm going to be. Yeah. So if where I'm going to be needs to change in the vision that I have for myself, then ultimately that falls on me.
Yeah.
So that's evidently really what I got from it the most, was just ultimate accountability, so to say, right? And then I think my two favorite chapters from the book, one was it's something as where responsibility, you need to look like where responsibility has been abdicated. And then the next one was make one room in your house as beautiful as possible.
Yeah.
I think those are the two that really stuck out to me right
That's heavy, because I always, before I leave my house, I always take a glance at my house. And I don't know if you know who Charleston White is.
Wait. Yeah, I know who Charleston White is, man.
But he said some real shit on one podcast. He was like,
he don't say anything. Sorry to cut you off. He don't necessarily.
I got it.
A lot of people just don't agree with his communication skills, and they don't like the way it's delivered. But go ahead, continue.
So he said before you look at somebody else, and he used house as an example. He was like, look at your own house. How do you leave your house when you go to work? And I always, even when I was younger, like I always like do stuff like get up in the morning, make my bed, right?
You did that when you was a kid. Like your mom had you doing your dad.
It was kind of like routine. So my mom, she was always harping on us about making our bed.
You grew up in a Spanish household, right?
No, not Spanish household.
No?
My mother's white.
Okay.
Yeah, and my real father, he wasn't in our life. So, and then that Spanish side of my dad's side of the family is kind of non-existent.
Okay. So okay, go ahead.
So in the house that I grew up in, my mom, she's always harping on us about making our bed. You know. Now that I'm an adult, like the first thing I do when I get out of my bed is I make it, and I like the way it looks. You know, and I got addicted to how I specifically make my bed. My wife doesn't even touch the bed when she gets out of the bed. Or we get out of the bed, she just walks off, right? Not because she doesn't want to make the bed, it's because she knows that there's a specific way that I make the bed. So it's one of those things. It's like when you leave the house, how does your house look? And do you like the way or the state of the house or how you left it? You know, it's like when I come home from work, you know, the house is already clean because I cleaned it before I left, you know, and I got kids. You know, I even get compliments, people walking in the house, like, wow, you know, your house is really, really in order. You know, so it's like, if I leave my house in order, you know, and I decide to place judgment, you know, that hypocritical sense I don't have, or that hypocritical guilt I don't have. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, and it kind of ties into, like, you know, what I do, you know, in the military. It's like if I go through somebody's room for inspection, you know, now I'm like, hey, your room looks like crap. But knowing in my head, I make sure that my house doesn't look like crap.
Oh my gosh. Man, how many people you probably get inspected by, you know, their house look like just dog shit.
Yep.
Just dog shit. I used to be so pissed.
I know a few people that's, you know, got a little wrinkle on their collar that I went to their house and I'm just like,
oh my gosh, and have the audacity.
Yeah, the audacity to go on somebody else's room, like, you got dust on your like, X, Y, and Z. And I'm just like, bro, like, you need to stop.
Audacity, man.
You need to stop.
No, Charleston White said that?
Yeah, he said, how you leave your house is a prime example of how you are as a person.
You gonna have me start making the bed from now on, man.
I'm telling you, it's before you pray, you know, make your bed. Or, you know, if you're not religious, you know, it's like before you do anything else, before you use the bathroom, brush your teeth, wash your face, just stop for a second and make your bed, and really look at how you make it. You know, do you really take the time to make your bed? And we were taught that in boot camp.
Yeah.
First thing you do, like right after you get dressed, boom, make the racks.
I've been trying to make sure. I've been trying to get the bed sometime to like boot camp specifics, and I can't. I forgot how. Hey, boot camp. Yeah, a boot camp rack is different.
Yeah, boot camp rack is different. Yeah, you can bounce a penny off that. You know how tight it was. Yeah,
boot camp rack is different, man. But nah, dude, you came out of podcast today. You just dropping gems after gem. Like, what's going on? Y'all done saved up. This is crazy. For real.
Bro, the way my mind operates sometimes, man, it's like there's some things I just want to get off my chest. You know, the outlet is you know, who is like-minded, who's willing to listen.
You know what? And see, the internet's so weird. We got a bunch of goofies that just putting nonsense out there. The people that we actually need to listen to, they don't have a podcast necessarily, or they're just wrapped up doing something else like what Eugene is doing. You know what I mean? But definitely have a good head on their shoulders and could actually speak sense and life into you, man. And that's the people we need to advocate for, to actually have a voice.
Yeah.
You know, it's weird, man. It is a very weird space. 2025 is weird. The internet's weird.
Yeah. The people operating in the world is weird.
Yeah.
It's an odd space to be in right now.
Man, I'm not a pessimistic person, but they're so hard. I don't know what the future looks like. I really don't. It's kind of hard to try to pinpoint where we go. And especially as like, especially as a Black American, like, man, we need to do way better in necessarily everything, man. We need to unite, come together, and we need to stop looking at each other like enemies, man.
It's something, I had a conversation with one of my good friends. Shout out Matt. If he ever gets a chance to watch this video, he knows exactly what I'm talking about.
Matt, M-A-T?
M-A-C.
M-A-C, Matt.
Yeah, first name George, man. He's a good homie of mine, man.
Yeah.
He calls me like every day just to check on me. He's one of them type friends.
Okay.
He'll call you every day and be like, yo, just checking on you, man. Make sure you're good.
Okay.
It could be that one day that you don't call, and that'd be the day. You know what I'm saying? Like that somebody really pushes that button, or something really, just making sure everybody's good. He's that type of guy. And I enjoy the conversations we have, man, because me and him have different mindsets, but we can have a good conversation about it and really dissect each other's opinions. Good brother, man. I'm talking about like he's like one of those dudes that's like Black Power type. You know what I'm saying? Like yeah. And my opinion on it was completely not opposite.
What was context? Sorry.
The context was Black on Black crime. The viewpoints on police brutality. Certain stuff like that, and how that was shaping our communities. And I was like, there's some things that we just can't let to the wayside go, i.e. Black on Black violence. I'm like, it's in our music, it's in our culture, and then the hypersexuality of our women. And, granted that, there are communities that are coming together to alleviate all of this. And they are coming together to, put a stop to it. Got it, but it's not dying down anytime soon.
Yeah, I think more than anything too, it needs to be condemned, man. I want the music is a bit hard, right?
Yeah.
But like Black people, ignorance of being Black, right? Like you know the term of like, okay, like I'm a Black man, but I'm Black, but there's the other NOs out there.
Yeah.
Right? Like I'm not one of them. Yeah. And it's like, I think we as Black people need to condemn people that are just ignorant and just don't have the best positive light for Black people, and they just make us look bad. Like it shouldn't. You shouldn't feel like you're cool because you're not able to articulate yourself well. And I'm not saying you gotta be out here sounding like Jordan Peterson, but you gotta be able to talk properly so that way other people understand you, right? Yeah. And we all know that there's a certain type of Blacks that just can't speak. Like, they speak in tongues and they think this shit's cool. You know what I mean? And it's slang, and it's like, brother, I don't know what you're saying. Like, what are you saying?
Yeah, and it's nonsense to us because we have a different perspective of reality in the world. But it makes clear sense to them because their perspective is totally based on their experience. So when you're talking to somebody that actually encountered somebody like a racist police officer, for example, right? Their viewpoint is skewed because they can't believe that there's not anything else other than a racist police officer. So you can't cancel that just because they don't know how to articulate. You got to understand that their viewpoint is coming from a different perspective than yours. So trying to understand them and trying to see what the underlying factor is and making them understand like there's always bad people in places where they don't need to be, no matter where you go in this world.
Yeah.
Everywhere.
And you know what, too, though? I think, so again, it goes back to, right, like, the 100% blame cannot be on the Black people within those communities. It just can't. But what I won't agree with, and I totally disagree with, is they can't continue to keep being a victim and reaching for victimization.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. And that was one of the topics that we talked about, that victim shit.
It drives me insane, right?
That victim
but
shit,
the government, the U.S. government had a strategic and crucial role into the way these communities have played out. And that's a fact, right?
Yeah.
Redlining, not allowing black people to move out of inner cities and grab houses in the suburban area, right? Like, all of that's fact that played into a role of the cities being built improperly or not with the actual proper code and stuff like that. And
the privatized housing,
exactly,
Section 8 housing, it was all designed to keep people in the city and keep people private. Yep, I'm tracking.
Well, not just people, but black people specifically.
Yeah, black people specifically.
Right, and then they weren't allowed to move into white neighborhoods, even if they could afford to, because then it started to bring down the property value. Like, all of that's systemic, and the government played a crucial role into that as well too. So they can't. Black people in those communities are not 100% to blame for the reason those communities are like that. Go ahead.
No, sorry to cut you off, but
no.
What I was gonna say to counter that was that didn't destroy the opportunity.
That didn't destroy the opportunity.
No, all of what the government did and all of what privatized housing and the system how it was set up.
Yeah.
That never diminished the opportunity. We still have great African Americans that did amazing stuff with their communities, became millionaires, opened businesses.
Correct.
Black Wall Street was during Jim Crow. It never stopped us from being great.
Correct.
So when people talk about this, I'm like, the opportunity was always there. I grew up in a province area. I grew up in the hood. But I was never a part of that because I always wanted to leave.
And why is that? So, like,
when you break it down, bro, it's some people want to stay in their communities because it's so warming and welcoming.
Nah, I don't think that's it.
I'm talking about in the community.
Okay,
I'm not talking about the neighborhood itself. I'm talking about the community,
but
growing up with friends and family close by.
Right.
Some people don't know how to leave that.
What is that take, or what is that distinction, right? Like, because I wouldn't necessarily say, like, the Virgin Islands didn't grow up in, like, the hood or anything like that, right?
Yeah.
I grew up, I was well off. However, like, the neighborhoods was a little bit, it was diverse where, of course, like, the person down the street from you probably wouldn't have as much as you, right? But it was still a very much a community driven. And, of course, like, we were still cool with the gang members and the people in that wanted to be in that lifestyle, right?
That's a community,
Exactly. So, but for me growing up, I knew I never wanted to be a part of that. So, and you stay in the same thing. It's like, why is it that more people can't make that distinction in the sense of nothing comes out of that life other than misery and more poverty and more pain, right? And I'm trying to talk to like the 13 or 14-year-old black kid that's probably growing up in an area that's gang affiliated or filled with it. And I know it could be hard, but they probably don't want that lifestyle for themselves. And it's like, it might sound bad. I don't know any other resource, Eugene, out other than the military that could possibly get them out. Do you know another resource outside of the military? And I don't want to just be advocating for the military. I don't want like to push black people to join. But I can't think of any other resource outside of that that's going to set you up and legit put you on a rocket launcher into a better state of living, I think is what I'm trying to get at.
Yeah.
Like, it's the quickest way to completely change your world.
Yeah. So, because people know that the military is a biased institution. So, remember that saying in the Marine Corps is like, oh, you think you back on the block.
Yeah.
You remember that? Just because of the demeanor, just because of the way you look and how you talk, what culture you brought to the Marine Corps, right? I'm not, by any means, disclaimer, by any means do I advocate that the Marine Corps has this type of bias, but it's something that I experienced, right? Back to topic. So the Marine Corps had this saying, oh, you think you back on the block. Right?
Yeah.
That's because of, they'll be like, oh, you talk a little different, or you have this accent or this bravado about you. You know what I'm saying? Like,
or that you cocky,
or you're cocky.
You feel like you think you're back there, like
yeah, right. So, and I think people know that. People know that the military in itself has this bias towards those type of people that are headstrong, that come from a different type of culture,
or impoverished culture.
Yeah, right? Or impoverished culture. Yeah. And I think that's what keeps some people away from the military.
No, you're right. Discipline would be another one too.
Discipline, yeah. Taking orders from somebody that you don't know, or you don't think that has any type of genuine care for you. You know what I'm saying? You think they're just trying to mess with you or fuck with you.
No, you're absolutely right. That is true. But again, going back to that, like, so what would you tell a 13 or 14-year-old to convince them, like, hey, I get it, but if you really want to change your life and you really want to get out of the environment that you're in, your only resource and the one that's going to set you up for positivity, future, like, going forward, is going to be the military.
I wouldn't recommend the military. I think the military is something that you have to want to do on your own. It's just my personal opinion because...
No, yeah, as you should.
I spoke to a corporal's course class, and I told them, I was like, the Marine Corps could give you everything that you want in life, but it also could take everything you want in life away in an instant because of a mistake. One mistake could end your life and then ruin your whole life. Or it can end your career, excuse me. It can end your career and ruin your whole life. The Marine Corps will be like, oh, we need you for 4 years. Right, we'll give everything that you need for those 4 years. But if you mess up, we take everything away from you in life. You get a bad discharge, no benefits, hard to get a job. They will ruin your life if you do anything that's goes beyond what they set forward as rules.
And that's absolutely 100% correct. But I kind of want to backtrack a little bit too, right? Mm-hmm. My statement is more along the lines of...
What advice would I give a 13, 14-year-old?
Even further back than that. My statement was more along the lines of, if you're going to change that environment that you are growing up in, right, that's going to require necessarily like a trade, right?
Yeah.
For you to start earning some money, or let's say a college degree or something within STEM, right? So when you're doing science, math, engineering, etc., right? Mm-hmm. But the downfall of that is the time that it's required to actually be competent in that skill in order for you to get a job to take yourself out of the environment, right?
Yeah.
And the military, there is necessarily no time requirement other than meeting the satisfactory of like your age. And then boom, they ship you off. Once you've met of course there's the ASVAB and stuff like that, but it's the quickest turnaround to take yourself out of the environment.
It is the quickest, yeah.
But
I agree.
Absolutely right.
I definitely agree that it is the quickest way to change your life in an instant.
And that's kind of where my statement was on the grounds of. But like you stated, Ben, it comes with its baggage, right?
Oh yeah.
But one thing I would give the Marine Corps credit for that I wouldn't give any other branch credit for is the Marine Corps does I don't know if they do it today. They do a lot better job of disciplining without the paperwork necessary to destroy your life. Whereas other branches, and it's still to this day, I just read it in I think it's Rothstein's book, The Color of Law, where the Army has a thing where Black Americans get dishonorably discharged 2 times more than their counterparts, right? The Air Force that still happened in 2025 as well, and he's talking about post World War II. Mm-hmm. So 1945, that was still happening, right? And 2025, that's still happening. And the Air Force does the same thing too. You mess up once in the Air Force, you're getting dishonorably discharged. The Marine Corps kind of still does it a little bit old school, right? Where they might fuck with you a little bit. You might be showing up to duty every day for the next 90 days at like 5:30 and then cleaning up. Yeah, but your life wouldn't be ruined.
Yeah, I think the Marine Corps has a good way of finding other disciplinary actions to solve a problem.
Yeah.
I met a lot of leaders that be like, let's say, for example, you fall asleep on duty, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, falling asleep on duty is a violation of the article, and then on top of that, right, is dereliction of duty. Right. So that right there in itself can get you discharged. You know, it's like just falling asleep on duty. If they decide to throw the book at you.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of times that, you know, they'd be like, oh, well, you just stand extra duty. You know, like, you know, certain things like that. So the Marine Corps does have a better understanding. They have, you know, going on 14 years, like I've made mistakes in the past where, you know, somebody could have threw the book at me, but instead they'd be like, oh, you're just going to do X, Y, and Z.
Yeah.
You know, they mess with your time a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's the culture. That's the biased culture that I was talking about before. You know, the Marine Corps has a biased culture, and that biased culture is a hardened community within the Marine Corps. Like, there's certain jargons, there's certain things that Marines talk about that only other Marines know.
Yeah.
So it's definitely, that's part of the reason why I stayed in, because and I watched, you know, majority of my friends get out, is because the Marine Corps they offer a sense of community, you know, amongst us, whether you're disliked or liked, you know. And it's it's like whether you fall in line or you don't, you're still involved in that community.
You're still a part of it.
You're still a part of it, you know. And then when you get out, you know, you still find yourself talking that talk or walking that walk. You know, that's why I say once a Marine, always a Marine. So, you know,
they could keep all that
shit. but you still walking and talking, you know. So, like, for example, the Marines that you work with, you know, you understand them a little bit more than. Let's say if you work for the Air Force.
Correct.
You're like, what in the world these guys got going on?
I always speak on that, man. Yeah.
I've been around airmen, and I've been around soldiers, and the type of language that they talk, I'm just like, the closest thing to a Marine jargon is the Army.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. When they talk their talk, you know, like how they maneuver or how they operate.
Yeah.
You know, you can understand what they're talking about.
Okay.
But Airmen, Navy, even though Navy's our counterparts, they have a completely different culture.
Yeah, I can't stand any of the other branches, to be honest. Had tightened up, you know what I mean, doing the mustache. But I only say that.
Tighten up again because I gotta clean it up now.
I only say that because just Marine Corps is the most professional, and you see it. You know?
Yeah.
That's all.
We have a different type of standard when it comes to like how we carry ourselves. I love the Marine Corps. I really do. It's unfair. Nothing in the Marine Corps is fair. Nothing in the Marine Corps is ever given. Mm. Even though when it seems like from the outside looking in on somebody else's success, that's why I said you never compare somebody's success to your own.
Comparison is a thief of joy.
Comparison is a thief of joy. I got friends that's been in as long as me that already master sergeants. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that'd get me tight.
It doesn't get me tight. You know, I've always congratulated people on their success, even though, you know, mine's hasn't. I wouldn't say my success hasn't hit me yet, because you're successful in other areas.
Mm.
You know, that's only relative to you. So, I got friends that get promoted before me. You know, I got junior Marines that are, you know, elevated way more past me. You know, I'm always grateful that they either involve me in their success or they still reach out and talk to me. You know, they still, you know, have a type of communication with me. That's how I know that me allowing myself not to, you know, check their pockets or you know what I'm saying, always compare my career to their career. You know, always remain humble.
Mm.
So your success story is not their success story.
Your perspective is beautiful, man. And I think you hit home when it came to I might not be successful in that area, but I'm successful in other areas, right? That might not be applicable to them, but it fits my story, and I resonate with that as well too, right? Because my counterparts, again, we could bounce back to like the financial thing. I have counterparts that are like way ahead. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? They're a lot older too, but still they're way ahead financially in different regards.
Yeah.
And then, but I look at some of the stuff that they're unsuccessful with in their life, and I'm like, well, you know, I could sit here and compare myself all day, but at the same time, we're just different paths. We're walking different paths of life. So
exactly.
At the end of the day, I just gotta, you know, focus on me and like give myself ultimate accountability and just realize that like, I mean, I'm where I'm at because of myself, and wherever I'm going to go is gonna be because of myself as well. So as long as I keep that at the forefront of my mind, then make the changes and make the decisions that's necessary for the I guess the consequences that I actually want.
Mm-hmm. Right? Yeah. So there was and I like referencing other people, man, because sometimes when people say stuff and it resonates with you so well, you can't help but just kind of give them credit. And keep the name private. But a very close individual to me, you know, I would call him, get some mentoring, and one day he told me, he was like, Gene, you gotta stop calling me and complaining, right? Because sometimes I do need to complain to somebody about, you know, things that I've been through. And he just said, stop talking about it. Just stop talking about it and go fix the problem, if there is a problem. And he said, majority of the time, you don't have a problem. He said, the problem is you just didn't get the outcome you wanted. That's the problem. And he was like, when you understand that problem, you'll know how to fix it. He said, but the majority of the time, you don't have a problem. He said, stop talking about it. He said, every time you call me, you always have a problem with something. Or you always, you know, seek advice. He was like, sometimes you don't need advice. Sometimes you just need to stop talking about it. He's like, there's a spirit that's covering your joy, that's covering your blessings that are already in front of you. He was like, once you identify that you already are blessed, he was like, you're gonna stop seeking more blessings and just be appreciative of the blessing that you have right in front of you.
Expressing the gratitude, man.
Yeah. He dropped that on me and I shut up. He dropped that on me and I shut up. Shout out to my mentor.
Oh, that was the one you showed me the picture of?
No, that's my other mentor.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
okay.
I got a few of them, man.
Yeah, we should all, right? Because you can learn something from all sorts of different people. People have different walks of life.
And mentoring is big. Mentoring is big. I got a few, you know.
Yeah.
And I think that's why my perspective on life is so, I would say, obtuse. But that's probably the wrong verbiage to use. My viewpoint is more, I say passive. Because I'm not saying that I allow, you know, just random things, but I more so accept, you know, what happens, because all of this stuff is already written. It's just up to you to decipher how you lay it out in your book of your own life, you know.
Yeah.
So like this stuff is already pre-written in my opinion. Like your life, the outcome, what you do in your life, you know, the steps that you take. You can never go back and change what you already did, because it's already meant for you to experience. You know? Yeah. It shapes who you are. But it's just up to you to place it in positions where, you know, you can kind of foresee your outcome. For example, I always knew that before I even joined the Marine Corps, that cutting hair was my passion, but it's up to me to put that in place.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
To make it happen.
To make it happen. Whether that be owning a barbershop, or whether that be just randomly having clients and starting my own little thing, meeting people, talking to people, having conversations like this. Yeah. I know that this is my passion, you know, at the end of the day, but it's up to me to start setting that up in place.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Man, Eugene, beautiful words, bro. I was going to ask you to leave them with something else too, but I think you don't need to leave them with anything else. I think that was it, bro.
That was it.
You coming through and getting me right. You know what I mean? Let me know how the camera, how I look. You know what I'm saying? He took care of me a lot. Last time he went too high on the side. I was
hey, check it out this time. Matter of fact, I'm gonna get you this, man. Check it out.
Oh no, this is good. Oh, I want to get rid of the beard though.
You want to get rid of the beard?
Yeah, I don't want to keep the beard at all.
Okay.
That shit is crazy on me.
All right, we'll have a seat.
Yeah, I think we're good though. We're good with the podcast.
Oh yeah, most definitely.
Right.
You know, we could be here all day.
Yeah.